awful lot of mitzvahs. I think it could be that Achrei Mos Kedoshim is somewhat of a record. So awful lot of mitzvahs. People wouldn't mind to put on their videos. I'd like to see them. I want to appreciate how warm it is in Eretz Yisrael, so you don't need a coat like is necessary in Cleveland and I don't know where else. In any case. So amongst the mitzvahs that we read in the parsha, we read about B'tzedek Tishpat Misech. Chazal understand that we learn from him, amongst other things, have a danas kala adam b'kaf zechus. Halacha says that if there's a Jew that's Benoni, generally speaking, does mitzvahs once in a while. Unfortunately, sometimes he might be nechshel in an avera. So halacha says that if he does something which looks 50-50, have an obligation to judge him the kaf zechus. If he does something which looks more problematic than kosher, then I'm allowed to leave it as a suffix. I don't have an obligation to don the kaf zechus. I can leave it as a suffix. If there's an individual that's known to be a Torah scholar, if there's somebody that's known to be a Yirei Shamayim, then halacha says that one is obligated to judge him the kaf zechus, even if the action doesn't look all that kosher. The Gemara says in Brachos, if one sees the Talmud Chacham she'avar aver b'layla al taharher acharav, because Vadei asa tshuva, certainly did tshuva. The cynics interpret that what that means is that he probably wrote a tshuva to explain that why what he did is really kosher. But of course, the simple reading of the Gemara is that we assume that he did by a Russia, a wicked person, then even if he does something which looks kosher, the right to judge him the kaf chova. This obligation to judge the kaf zechus, those that assume that it seems to be ben adam chaver, those that suggest it's also ben adam makom. Why ben adam makom? Well, if I view others favorably, I view others as righteous, then I myself will try to be righteous. If I view others as being sinners, then I'll myself figure, well, hey, everybody's doing it. Everybody's rotten. Everybody's ganavim. Everybody's doing terrible things. So I could as well. Therefore, there's an obligation also ben adam makom for one to judge others favorably. How does one reach such a level of judging others favorably? So for one thing, why did nobody tell me that I'm not on video? You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Okay, Yisrael, what did I do wrong?
Not sure.
I'll try to brush my hair better next time. The host has asked you to start my video. Okay, starting my video. Okay. We're doing okay? I'm back on video. Yisrael?
Yes.
Okay. In any case, so how could one get himself to be done the kaf zechus? So number one, remembering the great schar. If one is judging others the kaf zechus, then he himself is judged in shamayim the kaf zechus. We know that one's relationship to others impacts the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges him. Furthermore, I think that if one has proper Ahavas Yisrael, that could also help. After all, when you went to a parents teacher, when your parents went to a parents teachers meeting and were told that hey, there was a thumbtack that was placed on the teacher's chair, and the teacher suspects it was you. So your parents' reaction was, "My talk should eat that." If a person has proper Ahavas Yisrael, just like a parent loves his children, so similarly, if we love all Jews, then it will be hard for us to accept that they did anything wrong. Then we're not going to be mekabel that possibility that they did an avera. So thus remembering the great schar, remembering the mitzvah of Habta L'Recha Kamocha, that could help. There's also another factor. Rav Biderman suggests, based on a mashal that's given, there's once some fellow, the milkman that also sold cheese, and the baker of the town complained that this milkman is cheating everybody. After all, he sells a kilo of cheese for $30, and says the baker that it turns out I measured a kilo of cheese, not really a kilo, it's 900 gram. So he's charging us for a kilo when really he's only giving us 900 gram. So they called the milkman to court, the Bezdin. They asked the Bezdin, what do you have to say for yourself? So the milkman said, I'll tell you the truth. I own a scale, a kaf maznaim, I own a scale, but weights I don't have. But what I do know is that every morning I buy from the baker a kilo of bread, or what he tells me is a kilo of bread. So hey, if in fact maybe there's something wrong with that kilo of bread, then that's why the baker is not getting a kilo of cheese, because he's not giving me very often a person, if we realize that we all ourselves have chesronos, very often the same chesron which we suspect the others have, then would be that much easier for one to be down the zechus. Person who realizes that he himself has chesronos. Chesronos which are often somewhat similar to the chesronos of the other guys that we are choshed in, then we could perhaps avoid viewing others negatively. Of course, judging others favorably, seeing others in a favorable light is something which is very important in terms of avoiding lashon hara. If a person obviously judges others favorably, then he's not going to be talking lashon hara. The pasuk says, "Mi ha'isha chafetz chayim ohev yamim l'ros tov." So l'ros tov, one could understand that l'ros tov is part of the advice. How is it that a person avoids lashon hara? How is it that you can be ohev yamim l'ros tov, to try to see the good in people, to try to see their positive traits? Furthermore, we have to realize the Mishnah says, don't judge others till you're in their place. And the Sfas Emes points out that you can never really be bin kamo. You can never really be in their place, because after all, you don't know what a person's background is. You don't know what his genes are. You don't know, you can't always figure out what his motives are. And therefore, if we keep that in mind, then it's that much easier for a person to avoid being overly judgmental. Okay, on today's agenda, on Baba Basra, a number of points I'd like to talk about. After discussing some point which relates to something which we had last week, we will talk about Bezrat Hashem, the maternal shormu, kamisha hormu, number of points related to Tosos. We'll discuss whether there's a concept of muchzak in a situation where that which the father was in control of is something that might not reach his hands, in the sense that the one that's meant to give it to him has to back off. Is the dir muchzak in such a situation? We will see some commentary of Rabbeinu Yonah on the Gemara's Havamina, or on the Gemara's question. The Gemara asks some question. Ida asilon, then pshited lo asil de'avu, then ra'oihu. So there's some ha'ora rabbis on that question, which will connect back to some discussion we had last week concerning the Ktos. And time allow, we'll begin with God's help about muchkeres and muskeres. Okay, Rabbi. Before we get back to Tosos and the discussion that we began last week with respect to Tosos, let's just point out the following. We had a discussion concerning the nature of matnos kahuna. Matnos kahuna before they're actually given to the Kohen. So we said that Rashi, and perhaps Tosos is also the opinion, belong to the Shevet kahuna. On the other hand, we pointed out that those that might understand, they don't really belong to the Shevet kahuna, but rather they are hefker. Not hefker for all, but hefker for Kohanim. This Chakira is one which happens to appear on the bottom right of the sheet of Yom Hey. On the bottom right of the sheet of Yom Hey there, at the bottom, he happens to mention such a Chakira. We won't read it inside now. In line 4 there, the bottom right of that page of Yom Hey. So in any case, so I'm just going to mention some brief comment. Welcome, Eli. I'm going to mention some brief comment with respect to that Hakira. There is a Ktos that points out the following. Can one give a present can one give Truma to a Kohen Katan? Can one give Truma to a Kohen Katan? Can one give Pidyon Aben to a Kohen Katan? So the Ktos in Reish Mem Dalet, I'm sorry, half a second, please. I'll get the Ktos. I think it's Reish Mem Dalet Gimel, if I'm not mistaken. The Ktos. Reish Mem Gimel Dalet. Reish Mem Gimel Sifkat and Dalet. The Ktos quotes those that say, quotes the Gemara. The Gemara basically implies that one could give Truma to a Kohen Katan. So why should this be so? After all, Katan can't be Kona Mida'oraisa. So one explanation given is that although a Katan can't be Kona from Hefker Mida'oraisa, but he can be Kona due to the fact he can be Kona in a situation, according to many, when he's given a present. He's given a present. What's called Das Acheres Makna. When there's Das Acheres Makna, and somebody else is giving a present to a Katan, he could be Kona. Right, Eli? Someone who's saying to, somebody commented? When a present is given to a Katan, and there's Das on the part of the Makna, then the Katan could be Kona. So similarly, when one gives a present to a Kohen Truma, to a Kohen Katan, he could be Kona. Others, though, point out, I think the Ksos might raise the objection, hey, why is this called Das Acheres Makna? After all, if I give something of my own to a Katan, to a Kohen, to anybody, that's a Katan, then that's called Da'as Acheres Makna. On the other hand, if in fact I'm giving Truma, so I, the Israel, don't own that Truma. If I don't fully own that Truma, then it shouldn't necessarily be called Da'as Acheres Makna. So why is it that Midaraisa, and he quotes the Gemara, that one could give Truma to a Kohen Katan? After all, Katan can be called Midaraisa, and the concept of Da'as Acheres Makna doesn't necessarily apply to a Katan, and it doesn't necessarily apply by Truma in light of the fact that it's not owned by the Yisrael. This might depend on Tovasana a Mammon, Tovasana in a Mammon, but in any case, the Ksos, though, does raise the possibility that maybe I could give Truma to a Kohen Katan based on the fact that even before I give it to him, it does belong to the Shevet Guna. So if it already belongs to Shevet Guna, then it's that much easier for the Kohen Katan to be Kohen Katan to be Kona. Because after all, it does belong to the Shevet Guna even before I give it to him. Okay, it's a long, interesting Ktos, and we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, let's get back to our...
Rabbi said it does belong to the Shevet, and therefore it helps him, or it doesn't?
The Ktos says, if you do assume that it belongs to the Shevet Kahuna, and then it's much easier to the Katan, because after all, I'm just designating it for the Katan, something which already, the Katan is also part of the Shevet Kahuna. And thus, if it already belongs to Shevet Kahuna, you just designate it for a particular Katan, that's something that is easier to do than giving him something which Bichlal is not, which Bichlal isn't his.
But wouldn't that go against his translation of that Tosfos, his reading of it?
That's a good question. That's a good question. How that works out with the, I was wondering about that. The way the Ksos, you're saying the way the Ksos learns Tosam Kuf Chav Gimel. That's, I was wondering about what appears to be a stira in the Ksos. I don't know the answer to that question offhand. Okay, now moving on to something else, Rabosa.
Rabbi?
Yes, sir.
Just to stay on the topic of Makir Kahuna, how does the man the Omer who says that Maton Wetis is a Kinyan Gomer, according to that man the Omer, I think it was Rabbi Chonon, why does he say that the Gemara brings the kasova matanos shelo hurma k'mish hurmadami? As in, if the whole concept of makiri gehuna is in of itself a kinyan, why does the Kohen need to bring a proof of that? Or what is matanos shelo hurma doing?
Louder, please.
Lefina man de Oma. 1 second, I'm saying get a bit clearer. Yeah.
Lefina
man de Oma, I think it's Rebbe Chonom who said that what Toast is saying about Matonim Muetes is it's a Kinyan Gomer.
Right.
According to him, why does the Gemara bring the Kasova Matonim Shlohurmu? And then surely it's self-contained within Makiri Kahuna that it is Kona, the Zehu. Why does the Gemara need to bring this new concept of Matonim Shlohurmu?
That's a good question that we raised the question. We didn't give any answers last time, and if you give me a call afterwards, then we could think about it some more. Okay. So at this point, I'm not answering that question. I don't want to answer that. Okay, Rebels. So let's just review the Gemara. So the Gemara said, Rebels, like that if you have an animal that was shechted during the life of the father, then during the lifetime of the father, the Kohen father, then the Bechor of the Kohen will get Pishnai, even if the Zor L'chaim Keva wasn't separated off, because this time okay. The Rashbam invokes the Gemara in Chulin Daf Kaf Lamed. The Gemara in Chulin you have on the sheet from Yom Hey. There the Gemara points out the following. The Gemara says, the Gemara has some pasuk which indicates that a Kohen's rights to the Zor L'chaim Keva are one which we learn from a pasuk that were Motzied B'dayanim, that he could be Motzi B'dayanim. The Gemara sees this as a question on Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda said that if one destroys Matnos Gehuna, then one is putter due to the fact that Mamon She'en Tovim based on some Xeras HaKasav. So how could you say that you're Motzied B'dayanim? Says the Gemara, the Maskana, that the case where you're Motzied B'dayanim is the case where it reached the hands of the Kohen. If the Kohen already made a kinyan on it, reached the hands of the Kohen, and then somebody takes it away from the Kohen, then of course the Kohen's rights can be defended in a court of law. Somebody then takes it away from the Kohen, then the Kohen has the right to take him to court. If somebody destroys it, then the Kohen could take him to court. Okay. Just the Gemara asks, so what's the Chiddush? Obviously, if it reached the hands of the Kohen, then the Kohen could defend his rights in court. Says the Gemara, the Chiddush is where it reached the Kohen's hands when it was still Tevel, meaning the Matanos weren't separated off yet. Even though the Matanos weren't separated, nevertheless, since it was in the Kohen's hands, if the Kohen intended to be Kona, Zor L'chaim Keva, then he's Kona. And if anybody takes away from the Kohen, then the Kohen can take him to court. That's the Asli Adai B'Tivlai. And there the Gemara indicates that if the Gemara sounds like if it was Asli Adayu, the Zor L'chaim Keva itself, then there wouldn't be any chidush that the Kohen could defend his rights. The chidush is even if it just reached the Kohen's hands before the Zor L'chaim Keva was separated off. Okay. Parenthetically, let me mention there's something which isn't entirely clear to me about that Gemara. If you'd like to turn off the audio for a minute, that you can, because as I said, there's someone parenthetical. The Gemara indicates that the whole chidush that the Kohen could defend his rights in court is only in a situation where only a situation where asli yadayu b'tivlayu. But if asli yadayu, when it was actually in the state of Zor L'chaim Keva, then there's no chidush that the Kohen could defend his rights. Now, this is a bit strange because after all, what exactly is this case of asli yadayu? Asli yadayu in what sense? Was it given to the Kohen with the intention of the Kohen being Kona? Did it reach the Kohen's hands, the one that put it in the hands of the Kohen, the straw that put it in the hands of the Kohen? Did he put it in the hands of the Kohen with the intention of the Kohen being Kona? The implication of Rashi over there in the continuation is that it was just given to the Kohen as a pikadon. Just given to the Kohen as a pikadon. It wasn't given to him with the intention of the Kohen being Kohen. So if just given to the Kohen as a pikadon, then even if it was in the state of Zrol L'chaim Keva, he was separated off. It's somewhat of a chidush that the Kohen could be Kohen. So it's not entirely clear why the Gemara is so convinced that if it was separated off already when it was in the hands of the Kohen, that it's a davar pashat that the Kohen is fully Kohen. After all, if I didn't give the Kohen permission to be Kohen, it's a chidush that he's able to be Kohen. The Meforshim of Rashi that you have Xerox at the bottom right, that you have on the bottom right of the page, they deal with this, and they do point out that if, in fact, I gave this to the Kohen just as a pikadon, and he was Kona it, so he's in violation of an Isser, because after all, normally the Yisrael has the right to decide who he's going to give it to. But nevertheless, even though it's in violation of an Isser, did go ahead and is Kona it, then that Kinyan works, and the Gemara is Mechadesh, that even if it just reached his hands as Tevel, and he intends to be called Israel Chaim Keva, then it does work. Okay, so in any case, what the Gemara in Chulin indicates that even in a case of Asul Yadayu B'Tivlayu, the word Tevel, of course, is used liberally over here in a loose sense, because it's not really Tevel. After all, it's not like Truma that you can't eat from the rest of the produce until it's separated off. But in any case, if Asul Yadayu B'Tivlayu, if there's a Kohen that made a kinyan on the Zorah L'chaim Mekeva before the Zorah L'chaim Mekeva separated off, then the Kohen has full rights to it, and meaning it's fully his, and if anybody takes it away from him, then that somebody else takes it away from him can be taken to court. Let us read the Rashbam inside over here. Just want to point out something. It's like Asal Yadav B'Tivlayu, because after all, it wasn't actually Asal Yadav. After all, this is Makirei Kuna. So it didn't actually reach the Kohen's hands. We're in the Rashbam by Asal Kovchav Kimon Beis. But Dami Command Asal Yadav B'Tivlayu, the Amin B'Shchita Schulin, the Perk Azro, the Kanalu Kohen, I Asal Yadav B'Tivlayu. The Matan Shlo Hermuk Mi Shor Mudami. Kedenaf Kalan Hassam Mi Beze, Yemishpata Kohenim, Malamed Shamatanos Din, Lotzian B'Dayanim. The Matanos are Din, Lotzian B'Dayan. Okay, now let me ask you a question about this. What's the source for this rule of Matan Shlo Hermu Kamisho Hermu Damya? Who said a Matan Shlo Kamisho Hermu Damya? What's the source for this? So the simple reading of the Rashbam sounds like it's learned from that drasha there in Chulin. After all, there the Gemara in Chulin has some drasha, uses the word mishpat. Use the word mishpat with respect to Zrol L'chaim and Keva, which the Rashbam sounds like is come to tell us that the Kohen's rights to the Zrol L'chaim and Keva are defendable in court, and it sounds like the Rashbam understands that the point of that pasuk, is to say that the Kohen can defend his rights even in the case of Asil Yadayu B'Tivlayu. So it sounds like the Rashbam says that we're learning from the pasuk that Matan Shlo Hermu Kamisha Hermu Dam. That's what I think the Rashbam sounds like. You guys will later take a closer look at the Rashbam by us, and if you think otherwise, you will tell me. So in any case, getting back to the Rashbam, the Nafkalan first wide line Rashbam, Kanafkalan mi bezeh ya mishpat hakohanim, lama shematanos din, lo sim b'dayan mi yasam l'dabit like on Parsh Hasan. Achanami came dishtachet b'chayav once it was slaughtered during his lifetime, when Makirin shall coin zeh rate of their friends. Va'ovav afa b'shadayin lo'ofashu and ki'ilu bali yadai lido elu ohavav, these friends gamru makrin lo b'chulei. Okay, and as Don said, there's no chiddush, but there is a chiddush. The chiddush is that matan shlo hermu kamisho hermu damya. 1 second, please. All right, the Rashbam says in line 4, it's interesting. The Rashbam sounds like that the idea that Makiri Kuna is considered to be Mochzak, that's not a chiddush. After all, in a case where the Zrol L'chaim Mekeva was actually separated off, then the Rashbam sounds like there would be no chiddush that the Bechor would get to be Shnai. The chiddush is that Matan Shlo Hermu Kamisha Hermu Dam. Okay, now take a look at, now getting back to Tosfos.
Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
can we just explain what exactly the Rashbam's comparison is to our case and how our case is similar to Asbida B'Tivlayu?
Both our case and in the case of Chulin, the Kohen had some kinyan by us, a kinyan in the form of Gemur's Das. They're a kinyan in the form of the fact that the Kohen was holding on to the stuff in a state where the Zrola Chaim Keva wasn't separated off from the rest of the animal.
Here it's like worse because it never even got to the Kohen yet, like the actual goof of the animal.
All right, but nevertheless, based on Katan Makiri Guna, so that apparently it's viewed as if it did reach the Kohen. Also, let me point out, in a certain sense here, it's better because over here, it's being given with the intention was to give it to that Kohen. Over there, it sounds like wasn't necessarily even the intention to give it to that Kohen. But, okay, Rabbi say. So now let's take a look at our Tosus. So Tosus points out, so over here, Rabbi, I'd like to discuss a number of points related to the Tosus, but first, let's review the Tosus. The Gemara establishes this price to go to Rebbe. If you take a look at the line 2, and Kuf Chav Dalet Amarav, it says, Mani Rebbe, Titania, and B'chonoto Pishnaim Shevach Shivin Chaslach Misabim, Rebbe Omer Omerani, B'chonoto Pishnaim Shevach Shivin Chas. So this brisa that says that the B'chor gets Pishnaim in Shevach Shivin Chas Nachum Misabim, this brisa, the Gemara establishes according to Rebbe. So again, Tosus from top, Tema de B'samach Mukilaka Rebbe, so Perak Beit the Kedushin, Islay Kamishor Mudam. Rebbe there holds that Matan Shlomu La Kamishor Mudam. Whether in fact that's the case or not, that Bezrat Hashem we will see in a bit. So Tosa has to steer within Rebbe. The Gemara over here establishes rights to be going according to Rebbe, and Rebbe in Kedushin holds Lav Kamishor Hormu. The Gemara says that this rights holds Kamishor Hormu. Rebbe there says Tosa holds Lav Kamishor Hormu. So it says Tosa to answer today Shlomo Tanacha Lo Sabala Karebi. So Tol's first answer is, hey, this brisa, after all, is not necessarily authored by Rebbe. Rather, this brisa holds like Rebbe with respect to the Bechor getting Pishnayim. But the brisa wasn't necessarily authored by Rebbe. So the brisa, the author, this brisa will hold like Rebbe with respect to Bechor getting Pishnayim, B'shevach shivim chasam nach misaviyah. And that's what the Gemara means when it says it's like Rebbe. But with respect to the issue of Matan Shlomo Kamisha Hormu, so in that, the author of this place will argue with the Rebbe. Rebbe himself, at least the way Tosus understands Rebbe in Kedushin, Rebbe himself holds Kami or Lav Kami. Rebbe himself holds Kami or Lav Kami. Rebbe himself holds
Lav.
Lav, thank you. Rebbe himself holds Lav Kamisha Hormu. And this brisa, the author of this brisa, the author of this brisa holds Kami Horma. Okay, so that's a simple answer. Inami Dafka Matanos the Trumos Meiser Isla Rebbe Lav Kamishur Mudami. Matanos Tahachad Zrola Chaimekeba Shenikos Isla Kamishur Mudami. Alternatively, Tosa suggests that perhaps there's a distinction there in Kedushin where we're talking about Shus there in fact Rebbe's opinion will be Lav Kamish or Mudamit. But when it comes to Zrola Chaimekeva, we'll hold Kamish or Mudam. Why in the world should we distinguish? So Tosa says that the Zrola Chaimekeva is Nikaros, meaning there's a very specific part of the animal that's meant to go to the Kohen. If I have a basket of oranges, a ton of oranges, so I can make any orange that I want into any orange that I want into Maisa. So in such a case, we will say Lav Kamish Hormu. But with respect to Zrola Chaimekeva, a very specific part is meant to be given to the Kohen. There, in fact, we'll say Kami Shor Hormu. This Svara is such a strong logical Svara that with respect to Zerah L'chaim Keva, there's more reason to say Kami Shehormu, that Rabbeinu Yonah, in fact, points out that one might have said that with respect to Zerah L'chaim and Keva, one might have said that there's not going to be any machlokas whatsoever. With respect to that, everybody would agree, Kami Shehormu. Our Gemara sounds like that our Brisa will hold Kami Shehormu. Sound like that there would have been room to say otherwise. Rabbeinu Yonah raised the possibility that one might have said with respect to Zerah L'chaim and Keva, so of course it's Kami Shehormu. There's no room for discussion about that. Our Gemara sounds like somewhat of a chiddush. So Rabbeinu Yonah points out that there is somewhat of a chiddush because after all, he points out that one might have said that before you actually separate off the Zerah L'chaim and Keva, one might have said that it doesn't have the din of matnos kahuna. It only takes on the status of matnos kahuna if you physically cut it off. So says the Gemara that if you hold matanosh lohurmu kami shormu, it will have a shame matnos kahuna even before you separate it off. But there would have been room to say that it doesn't have a shame matnos kahuna before you actually separated it off. Okay, so in any case, what's important is that our Tosfos indicates, Rabbosai, that there would be room to distinguish between, there's room to say that in general, matanosh lohurmu. There's room to say that in general, matanosh lohurmu. Lav, kami shormu dami. But with respect to Zerah L'chaim and Keva, kami shehormu. Okay. Before we go on with our discussion in Tosfos, let me mention something somewhat simple that relates to the Rambam over here. Let's shift to the Rambam that we have on today's sheet. One second. You know what, Yisrael, I'll ask you if you could put on, could you load the Rambams that, thank you. Matanos Lohormu, the Rambam Pascal, Matanos Lohormu, Arain Kamisha Hormu. If I am I'm Israel, but I inherit Truma, or inherit Teva, can one be, well, let's ask, can Israel be Yoresh from a Kohen? Is there a possibility of Israel being Yoresh from a Kohen? Well, obviously, if I'm Israel, then my father is a Yisrael. But I can have a grandfather, my mother's father. If my mother's father's a Kohen, they could be Yorish from it. So Rambam Pascal the Matanosh Lohurmu Kamisha Hormu. Therefore, says the Rambam, we'll see more about this in the Gemara in Kedushin, Bezrat Hashem. If there's Yisrael that inherits Tevel from his grandfather, the Kohen, and the Yisrael's mafresh Trumos Umaisros, then he's able to keep those Trumos Umaisros. And if he's a Mekadosh woman, then she's going to be Mekudesh. A bit of background that will also be relevant for the Gemara. Let's say I'm Yisrael, but I inherit Truma. So if I inherit Truma, I'm not allowed to eat that Truma, but I can sell it to a Kohen. I don't have to give it to a Kohen for free. Okay, let's say my grandfather, the Kohen, owned Tevel, and I inherit from him that Tevel. So do I need to be mafresh Trumas Maestros? Of course. Could I keep those Trumas Maestros? Says the Gemara, that depends. If one holds Matanos Lohurmu Kamisha Hormu Dami, then I could keep those Trumas Maestros. Why? Because if you hold Matanos Lohurmu, the Matanos Shlohurmu weren't separated off. Kamisha Hormu, it's as if they were separated off. So my grandfather, the Kohen, when he owned that Tevel, will view it as if he didn't only own Tevel, he also owned the Truma that's destined to be separated from that Tevel. So when my grandfather, the Kohen, owned Tevel, he owned also the Truma that's in that Tevel, if you hold Matanos Lohurmu Kami shehormu dami. And thus, the Rambam says, we paskin. Rambam's of the opinion, we paskin matana shlomu can be shehormu dami. So when my grandfather, the Kohen, owned the tevel, we view it as if he owned the truma in that tevel. So when I'm yorish the tevel, I'm yorish the truma in that tevel. And being that's the case, I don't need to give this to the Kohen for free. I can sell it to the Kohen, and thus I also have the ability to be mekadesh a woman with it. Some is of the opinion that matana shelo hormu kamisha hormu dami. Okay, very good. Now, based on that, we can understand very well that which the Rambam also paskins in Hilchos, the Rambam at the bottom right of today's sheet. If we could put that in, the Rambam paskins Hilchos Nachlos. Thank you. The Rambam Hilchos Nachlos points out Shachad Mimakirei Aviv Ema. If one of the Kohen father had a friend, and that friend shechted an animal, and then the Kohen father died, so the Bechor gets Pishnayim, which makes a lot of sense because Matan Shlohormu Kami Shlohormu Dame. Okay, the Rambam fits in great. The Rambam is wonderful. Parenthetic, let me point out. Although the Gemara does say that this brisa goes like Rebbe, who holds that a Bechor gets Pishnayim the Shevach, that takes place after the death of the father. The Rambam doesn't paskin like Rebbe. That's not a problem because after all, the brisa has a number of cases. The brisa says Bechor gets Pishnayim in the case of Bechor, and gets in the case of Matanos or Chaim Keva, and gets Pishnayim. This case, that case, the other case, one of the cases that the Bryce says Bechor gets Pishnayim is Shevach Sheshif Mechas Nachem Yisavim. With respect to that, Shevach Sheshif Mechas Nachem Yisavim, then in fact the Rambam does not pass like Rebbe. But this case of Zor L'Chaim Keva, that case would be true regardless of whether you pass like Rebbe or don't pass like Rebbe. Therefore, the Rambam is very understandable. Based on the fact the Rambam in fact paskins matana shlohormu kamisha hormu dami, the Rambam paskins that the Bechor will get pishnai. Okay, what's the problem with the Rambam? Well, the Minchas Chinuch picks on the Rambam over here. What's the Minchas Chinuch's problem with the Rambam? So if we shift to the Minchas Chinuch, please. Thank you. And the Minchas Chinuch raises a question with the Rambam. He points out the following. He says what the Rambam says is true, but the Rambam should have told us a bigger chiddush. What bigger chiddush should the Rambam have told us? After all, the Rambam should have told us that not only in the case of a Zor L'Chaim and Keva, but even in the case of Trumos and Maestros, the Bechor would get Pishnai. Meaning the Rambam should have told us that in a situation where there is a, what would the case be? What would the case be? Where there is a, if there is a Makire Kahuna, if there's a Yisrael that Yorash Avi Imo, then who could come over the case? In Trumos myself, Makire Kuna Levia, what would the case be? If there's a Makire Kahuna, can the Kohen father right? Let's say I'm Yoresh from my grandfather Kohen. I'm Yoresh from my grandfather the Kohen. Tevel. but I didn't have a chance to give it yet to the Kohen. Yaish, my grandfather, the Kohen, Tevel, but I didn't have a chance to give it yet to the Kohen. So would the Bechor get Bishnayim? If that Kohen is Makire Kuna.
Yes.
The truth is, what do we need to... I myself have Tevel. Forget any Yerush over here. I myself own Tevel. I'm Yisrael. I have Tevel in my house. I have Tevel in my house, and a certain Kohen to whom I normally give Trumas or Meisters. And then that Kohen dies. So does the Bechor, the Kohen, get Pishnayim of that Tevel? So according to the Rambam, we should say that, yes. Is that correct? Because Matanosh lo hormu kamisha hormu, and thus we should say that the Kohen is morish to his son that the truma within that tevel. Does that work, guys? Does that work?
Rebbe,
Yes, sir.
why can't the Rambam hold like Tosfos and Mechalik between Truma and Meister?
Oh, because the Rambam Paskin and Hilchos Isha said it's a general rule, even by Truma. That's the point. The Rambam Paskins is a general rule. Matanish lo hormu k'mish hormu. Even by Truma, he says that. So he's not mechalik like Tosfos. That's our point. And therefore, as the Minchas Chinuch, the Rambam should have told us a bigger chiddush. The Rambam should have said even by Truma, we should say, we should invoke Matanish lo hormu k'mish hormu. That's a Minchas Chinuch question. So Rambam should have said a bigger chiddush. Okay, I don't know if it's such a tremendous question, because after all, ain't dark over the Rambam to pass in case I'm not explicit in the Gemara. So maybe the Rambam would hold, but also in that case that the Bechor would get Bishnayim, but nevertheless, he didn't. He only wrote the case that's found actually in the Gemara. Okay, Rabbi. Maybe we'll go back to our. We'll put the screen sharing. Okay, Rabbi. Thank you. Back to Tos. So in any case, now our focus is, I want to look at the Gemara in Kedushin. We'll compare that with the Gemara in Nadar. The Gemara in Kedushin, in fact, which was invoked by Tosos. Tosos says Gemara in Kedushin. In the Gemara in Kedushin, Rebbe is of the opinion that Matanosh lo Hermu. Again, the way Tosos quotes the Gemara in Kedushin, Rebbe holds in Kedushin that what? Kami or Lav Kami. The way Tosos quotes the Gemara in Kedushin, Rebbe is of the opinion Matanosh lo Hermu.
Lav Kami.
Lav Kami. Now we have Rebbe in the Gemara in Kedushin saying Kami. Half a second, please. Just ask my son to try to improve the lighting over here. Listen, no, to submit. Click it again. Okay, yeah. What? Okay, find some other light. No, that's not going to be good. Okay, sorry. I have to think of some way of improving the lighting. I'm sorry. In any case, so the Gemara in Kedushin, the topic of discussion over there is the following. If we could, 1 second. Hannah, sorry. The sources that we put on today. No, before check. 1 second.
You want to open something that we.
Well, not the chart.
I know.
Rebbe,
Yeah.
which parak is the Rambam Manisha's from?
Hey, Vav or Vav, hey, 1 second. Whatever I, this. Hey, Vav.
Everything.
No, it's only the black. You want to not
Okay, Rabosai. Yeah, I'll ask somebody to put on the sheet from Yom Hey. I'll take a look at that Gemara and Kedushin. Sorry. We're progressing. Today, at least I was able to enter the classrooms. Break rooms. Classrooms, whatever you call it. Okay. Yeah. So somebody's please loading the sheet from Yom Hey. Thank you so much. Okay. So so just the Gemara and Kedushin here at the top make a bit larger. It doesn't need to be a lot larger, just a bit larger. Okay, wonderful. I know that that's not a bit smaller. Yeah, okay. So in any case, we won't take a look at the Gemara from the beginning, but just we'll take a look at the left column about line 13. Great. Okay. Kitanai. We have machlok tanaim concerning the following case. If one steals the tevel of his friend, so what happens if I steal your tevel? Do I need now the tevel itself? Let's say is worth $100, but hey, the trumas maestros, let's say that's worth $20. So the question arises: if I steal your tevel, do I need to pay $100 or just need to pay $80? So this is a machlok tanan between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, and the Gemara tries to figure out what exactly is machlok. So again, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Omer and Mishal El Demei Chulin Shabbat. So my lab bahakam implicate. The Gemara suggests that perhaps what they're arguing about is, thank you. The Gemara suggests that their argument is about the following issue: whether tovasana mamon, tovasana ena mamon. What's that mean? The benefit of the right that I have to decide who to give the trumas u'maisos to, is that something which is worth money or not? Is that something which is viewed as a mamon or not? If you say that tovasana mamon, then he has to pay a larger amount. Has to pay 100. If tovasana ena mamon, then he pays just the $80. This is something which actually is a discussion Rishonim. If you hold tovasana mamon, then is it in fact unnecessary for him to pay $100? After all, the tovasana itself, the right to decide which kohanim, which levim to give it to, that's something which isn't necessarily worth the full value of the trumas u'maisos. But in any case, that's not for us now. What the Gemara does say, "Dekuli alma tovasana ena mamon, bacha mitvalim shenaflu beis abi imo kohen, matanos lo hermu kamisha hermu dami kamifligi, marsava kamisha hermu dami, marsava lav kamisha hermu dami." So what's that all about? So we have over here a situation where somebody steals Harry's tevel. According to Rebbe, needs to pay Harry the full $100. According to Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, just pays $80. The Gemara says the machlokas is that the machlokas is in a situation where this tevel was inherited. This tevel was inherited from the fellow's grandfather, the Kohen. And the machlokas is whether matar shlohumu kami or lav kami shahum. Rebbe holds. Let's put aside Tosus by us. Rebbe holds. Divrei Rebbe that needs to pay $100. Why is that so? Because Rebbe holds. Rashi there explains kami shahurmu. Rashi there explains kami shahurmu. What's that got to do with kami shahurmu? Well, if you say kami shahurmu, then in fact we view it as if the grandfather Kohen owned the truma in the tevel. And if he owned the truma in the tevel, then when I am yoresh from the grandfather Kohen, from Grandpa Cohen, I'm yoresh from Grandpa Cohen, the truma in the tevel, and thus the truma belongs to me. Truma Semaistus belonged to me. And thus I was yoresh not only the chulin, the $80 worth of the tevel, but also the truma Semaistus in the tevel, and thus the Ganav needs to pay me the full $100. On the other hand, Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that matana shlomu lav kamishor min dami, and therefore the grandfather Kohen did not own the truma in the tevel. He did own all the tevel, but he didn't own the truma in the tevel as truma. The truma that eventually is going to be separated from that tevel, he didn't own it as truma. And since he didn't own it as truma, he didn't own it as meiser. So when I'm yorish regular tevel, and being that I was yorish regular tevel, I need to be mafish trumos or meisos. Or when I'm mafish trumos or meisos, in any case, I need to be mafish trumos or meisos. But mafish trumos or meisos, they have no right to keep that tevel, to keep those trumos or meisos. Those trumos or meisos are not mine in any way. And therefore, if somebody steals from me, they only owe me $80 and not $100. Just to clarify things, let's ask the following question: what happens in a situation where without this Yerusha from Avi Imo Kohen? Let's say this is a regular Yisrael, and from a regular Yisrael, somebody steals tevel. How much would they need to pay? Lamanda Amar Matanos Shlo Hurmo. Lamanda Amar Matanos Shlo Hurmo. Kamisha Hurmo. How much one needs to pay? Feel free to unmute yourself to answer the question. Again, I'm a regular Yisrael. I don't have any yichos from Grandpa Cohen. I have $100 worth of tevel, and you hold Matanos Shlo Hurmo. Kamisha Hurmo Dami. So if somebody steals from me the tevel, how much is gonna have to pay? $100 full value of the tevel, or just $80? How much is gonna have to pay?
80.
Just $80. Just $80. Why just $80? Because after all, if Kamisha Hurmu Dami, then zip the truma separate off. The truma ain't mine in a certain sense. That part that's going to be truma ain't mine, therefore only $8. Okay, what about Lamanda Amar Lav Kamisha Hurmu Dami? Lamanda Amar Lav Kamisha Hurmu Dami. How much will the Ganav need to pay? The implication of the Gemara, the fact that the Gemara establishes the case to be a case of where I inherited that tevel of my Grandpa Cohen, implies in the case of where I didn't inherit from Grandpa Cohen, regardless of whether you hold Kami or Lav Kami Shormo, how much is the Ganav going to need to pay me? Certainly only 80. After all, clearly the Manda Amar Kami Shormo, the Ganav is only going to have to pay me 80. So the Gemara seems to imply that also, from the fact that the Gemara didn't establish it to be such a case, of where the fact that the Gemara came on to a situation of where it's Grandpa Cohen would seem to imply that there's no Grandpa Cohen. Everybody would agree that the Ganav only needs to pay 80. Why is this so? So by Schechter in some article in his first Sefer Eretz HaTzvi, I believe, he points out that even though I, the Yisrael, in a certain sense, fully own the Tevel, but nevertheless, Lamaisa, since I'm going to need to turn over part of the money to the Kohen, to the Levi, so the loss which he's causing me is only loss of the loss which he's causing is only loss of
80.
80. Thank you. A loss of $80. But so in a case where somebody steals from regular Yisrael Tevel, certainly only needs to pay $80, only causing a loss of $80. But where he steals from Yisrael Tevel, where he inherited that from Grandma Cohen, then would be totally on a Kamisha or Lav Kamisha Homer. Of course, the implication is, let's say somebody steals from a Kohen Tevel. How much does he have to pay the Kohen? Regardless of whether you hold the Kami or Lav Kami, you steal from a Kohen Tevel, how much you going to have to pay?
Full.
Obviously. Come on, guys, please help me.
100 full.
100. But when somebody steals from Yisrael that inherits from Grandpa Cohen $100 worth of Tevel, so if you hold Kami Shohermu, then as if Grandpa Cohen had ownership on that Truma that's destined to be separated, and thus he was Morish to the grandson the Truma, and thus if somebody steals from that Yisrael, it needs to pay 100. If you hold Lav Kamisha Hormu, although the Grandpa Cohen did own that $100, but didn't own that which is going to be Truma, he didn't own it as Truma, just owned it as Tevel. So when he's Morish it to the grandchild, and the grandchild Morish it to me, and I mafresh that Truma, so I need to give that to the Kohen like any other Truma. I didn't have any ownership on that Truma. So either way, whether you hold Kami or Lav Kami, one needs to be mafresh Truma Sumaisis. So the question is, was I Yorish that Truma? Did Grandpa Cohen own that Truma that's destined to me? Okay. In any case, one thing which does emerge is that the Gemara over there clearly does indicate, according to our Girsa, that Rebbe is of the opinion that whoever steals from me needs to pay me, when I inherit from Grandpa Cohen, this Tevel, needs to pay me the full $100, due to the fact that Rebbe holds Kamisha Herman. Okay, so the Gil Nashas, as you see, points out, the Gil Nashas points out that Rabbi Kiveger, Gil Nashas points out, Mar Sava Ein tells Baba Basra. You could just move the sheet a little bit. If the Wizard of Oz or whoever's behind the scenes over here, just move up the sheet a bit. Thank you. So you guys see that Rabbi Kiveger in the Gil Nashas writes, Ein tells Baba Basra, Daf Kov Chav Gimon Beis, Yimas Mekasav B'Tzarech Iyun. Of course, this Tzarech Iyun is that according to our Girsa of the Gemara, Rebbe is of the opinion, thank you, according to our Girsa of the Gemara in Kedushin, Rebbe is of the opinion that what? Kamesha Hormone. So he doesn't understand what our Tosus is making a fuss about. Tosus says that our Tosus says that Rebbe holds in Kedushin Alav Kamesha Hormone, which is zero to what the Gemara implies about. So Tosus had not have the same Gemara that we have in Kedushin. So B'Kitzur, our Tosus indicates you have a stira between what our Tosus indicates and between what we have in the Gemara Kedushin with respect to Rebbe's Shita. Our version of the Gemara Kedushin, Rebbe seems to take the stand Kimi Shahormo. Our Tosus indicates that Rebbe in Kedushin holds Lav Kimi Shahormo. That's the question which Rabbi Kiveger asks. One possible approach is the following. If you take a look at the Gemara in Nedarim on the same sheet, just move to the right. The Gemara in Nedarim, thank you. There also has the same brisa, with okay, that's certainly big enough. Also, there the same Machlokes Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda going up to Roshel Chavero Ba'achlo. There it does speak of Ba'achlo, which I'm not sure yet necessarily has significance. So there also Rabbi holds that the Ganam needs to pay the full price. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says just $80. So let's keep in mind that is the same in that brisa is basically the same in the Darman Kedushin. That Rabbi says the Ganam needs to pay the full $100. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda just says $80. And there the Gemara explains, the Gemara has a number of different versions of what the machlokas is, as by Kedushin. And there, at least at one stage, the Gemara says that they're arguing over Kamisha Hormu or Lav Kamisha Hormu Dam. Take a look. The Gemara says, Elahacham Matan Shlo Hormu Kamiflegi Matan Shlo Hormu. And the Ran over there explains. The Ran, as you know, is on the side of the Gemara in Nedarim. He's sort of the Rashi and Tos in Nedarim. The Rebbe Savar, if you could perhaps, thank you, just a tiny bit more. Wonderful. The Rebbe Savar came in Shalahurmu, Trumas Ramaisis, Harbalahu, Kachulin, Shabo, Lav Kamishormu Damyan. So before we figure out exactly what this works, how this works, but the Ran over there explains that Rebbe's of the opinion that Lav Kamishormu Damyan. So wait, before we figure out what the rationale is, one thing is clear. The Ran explains that the Gemara Nedarim, according to the Gemara Nedarim, who is it that holds Lav? Who is it that holds Lav?
Rabbi.
Rabbi's the other opinion that Lav Kamishor Mudami. So whereas we had the Gemara in Kedushin, we had Rebbe holding Kami, over here, the Ran writes that Rebbe holds Lav Kamishor. Does that make any sense? Well, it might make some sense. Let's put aside the Gemara in Kedushin. Let's for now make believe you never learned the Gemara in Kedushin. So now let's just focus on the Gemara in Nedarim. So the Gemara in Nedarim says that when somebody steals on Israel, somebody steals my tevel, they have to pay $100 just $80. So Rebbe says 100. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi this says 80. The Gemara suggests they're arguing over whether Kami or Lav Kami Shohrim. Now, and Rebbe will hold, explains the Ran, Lav Kami. What's the rationale? Well, the rationale is simple. Let's keep in mind, there's some very important distinction between the Gemara in Nedarim and the Gemara in Kedushin. That is, here in the Gemara in Nedarim, it says absolutely nothing about inheriting from any grandpa Cohen. Rather, we're talking about a case where I, the Israel, have tevel, I, the Israel, have a regular tevel, and somebody comes and steals from me that tevel. So if somebody steals from me that tevel, then should they have to pay $100 or $80? So the Gemara Nedarim is of the opinion that they should have to pay, that how much they have to pay should depend on Kami or not Kami. The Gemara in Kedushin will argue with this when we talk about what the Machlokes is, but the Gemara in Nedarim will say that if I, the Israel, have tevel, and somebody steals from me that's tevel, then if you hold Matano Shlo Hurmu, well, let's figure out what the din should be. If you hold Matano Shlo Hurmu, Alav Kamisha Hurmu, then the Ganab has to pay of 100. Why? Because if Lav Kamisha Hurmu, then there ain't any Truma here yet. It's all mine. Kula Shali. All $100 worth is mine. All the tevel is mine. Lav Kamisha Hurmu. We don't view it as if there's any Truma yet over here. So you have to pay me the full $100. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, on the other hand, is of the opinion that Kamisha Hurmu Dami. So if Kamisha Hurmu Dami, how much should the Ganab have to pay me? Only $80. You shouldn't have to pay me for the $20 worth of Trumos Umaisros. So the Gemara in Nedarim is talking about where the stuff was not inherited from Grandpa Cohen. It's rather stuff that Yisrael himself has. And if that's the case, if you hold Lav Kamisha Hurmu, then there's room to say that the Ganav should have to pay $100. If you hold Kami, then the Ganav is just going to have to pay $80. Now, before we compare and contrast the Gemara in Kedushin and the Gemara in Nadar, yeah?
Didn't we imply beforehand that even if you say the case of these...
Let me speak for a bit more. I'm going to mute you so you can talk even if you can't hear you. Yeah, whatever. Because so let's just point out the following. With respect to Tosas' question, or with respect to Rabbi Kivega's question, Tosas said that Rebbe's of our Tosas indicated that Rebbe in Kedushin. Tosas claimed that Rebbe in Kedushin holds Lav. But we said, hey, that's ridiculous. We look in Kedushin, we see that Rebbe holds Kami, Shorma. So what do we do with that question? So one approach that one might take is that we have these two parallel sugyas, Kedushin and Nidarim. So maybe Tosas had in the sugya in Kedushin the verse that we have in the Gemara in Nidarim. Tosas might have had in Kedushin the verse that we have in Nidarim. Okay, that's not 100% smooth, because after all, as you guys saw, the Gemara in Nidarim rejects that Havamina pretty, or that stage pretty quickly. In any case, that's what one might guess. To summarize, our Tosas claims that there's a steer with the Rebbe, and Tosas gave two answers. That is, in the meantime, that's something which we're not talking about now. What we are talking about is the fact that Rabbi Kivega says that Tosas puts in the mouth of Rebbe in Kedushin. Tosas claims that Rebbe in Kedushin holds a Lav Kami, and we have Rebbe in Kedushin saying Kami. So one answer might be that Tosas had a different Gersa in the Gemara in Kedushin. You had in the Gemara in Kedushin the Gersa that we have in Nidarim. And in fact, in Nidarim, we have Rebbe holding Lav Kami. Okay. Now, I just want to point out the following. The Gemara in Nidarim, at least the way that we have it, according to the way the Ran understood at least, understands that the machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbana concerning one that steals teva, well, he needs to pay $100 or $80. Rebbe says $100. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. Rebbe says if one steals $100 worth of teva, pays $100. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda says pays $80. So that machlokas between Rebbe and Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, according to the Gemara in Nidarim, is in a case where one steals teva from a regular Yisrael. According to the Gemara in Kedushin, it's in a case where one steals tevel from a Jew that inherited from Grandpa Cohen. Now, is there a machlokas lahalacha between the two sugyos? Certainly. The implication of the Gemara in Kedushin, as we said before, when we learned the Gemara in Kedushin, the implication of the Gemara in Kedushin is, as we said before, that if one steals tevel from a regular Yisrael, then Bein Laman Amar Kami, Bein Laman Amar Lav Kami Shor Mutami, one would only need to pay how much? $80. One will only need to pay $80. And why is this so? Due to the fact that whether you hold Kami or Lav Kami, La Maisa, the loss that's being caused to Yisrael is only loss of $80. On the other hand, the Gemara in Nidarim is of the opinion that since if you hold since currently the tevel all belongs to the Israel, so if you hold Lav Kabisha Hurmudami, then since the tevel all belongs to the Israel, even though he's going to need to give some of it away, but now the Israel owns $100, and therefore there's a need to pay $100. Okay, Rabbi Wilson. I guess we're basically we're almost out of time. So just to tie things up, so the topics we talked about within our Tosas. So number one, we saw. Thank you for the screen. We talked about within Tosfos. We saw that Tosfos distinguished a distinction between he raised the possible distinction between Matan Shelo Hurmu with respect to his mices on one hand, and Matan Shelo Hurmu with respect to Zerah L'chaim Nekeva on the other. The Minchas Chinuch raised some question with the Rambam. In light of this, he says, in light of that distinction, that since the Rambam passes as a general rule across the board, Matan Shelo Hurmu Kamisha Hurmu, then he should have said a bigger chiddush than he did. Okay. We also pointed out that there is a stira within that question. There's a stira within Rebbe is something which is strange in light of the girsa we have in Kedushin, and we pointed out that perhaps Tosfos had different girsa in Kedushin that we had. Perhaps Tosfos had the girsa that we have in Nedarim, and we talked about what the machlokas would be between our Tosfos between what machlokas would be between the sugya in Nedarim and the sugya in Kedushin. Okay, Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow. Hopefully we'll eventually get to Mukhkaras and Muskaras, but there's a couple of other points, somewhat distinct to some of the points we've been talking about, though not totally unrelated. The points that we'll be discussing, Rabbi, hopefully will be very understandable, even if we're somewhat confused by today's discussion. The points that we'll be talking about, Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow are totally unrelated to today's discussion. Okay, Rabbi, have a wonderful day. Special schar to those people in Chutzlar to learn on Sunday, which is not a work day. Even work days aren't fully work days. So especially now, that's not work day, so special schar. A special schar to those people in Kerem B'Yavneh East that are learning Torah and Eretz Yisrael, which ain't Torah, Torah Eretz Yisrael. Actually, Yaish Makom Nachkor, what this counts as Torah Eretz Yisrael for the guys that are in Chutzlar. I don't know, not sure. Okay, have a wonderful